What's good everyone, it's 23MJ88 back with another video today. And for today's video, we're going to do a versus video on the Nike Zoom GT Run, Cut, and the newly released Nike Zoom GT Jump. So I just wanted to say real quick, thanks for everyone watching the videos, all the new subscribers, just all the feedback that I'm getting. It really goes a long way, so I just wanted to say that I am really appreciative of that, and do consider subscribing to the channel as there will be a lot of new videos just like this. So as far as the traction goes on all three models, on the runs, as you can see here, it is kind of a multi-directional wave pattern. I did have a few issues with durability as it's starting to peel off. On clean floors, on forward and back motions, they were great. Lateral cuts, like I said, my foot was sliding to a stop every now and then, but it is a pretty reliable traction pattern on the runs. Then as far as the traction goes on the Nike Zoom GT Cut, as you can see here, it is kind of a multi-directional pattern. This outsole does collect a ton of dust being translucent, but it does work very well. I really had no issues as long as you wipe this outsole. As you can see here, it is multi-directional, and the shoe does have a very loud squeak as well. I would say the loudest out of all three models. So as far as the traction goes on the Nike Zoom GT Jump, I found this to be the most reliable out of all three, as it is herringbone. As you can see here, you have lateral and vertical portions, and it is deeper near the toe and the heel, and then where it kind of intersects into the middle of the shoe, it does get a little more shallow. But as far as reliability and picking up dust, I found this shoe to be the best, as it really doesn't collect a ton of dust, and I really didn't have to wipe a ton in this shoe. So as far as the traction goes, I would have to say the Nike Zoom GT Jump is the best, with the Cut being a very close second. I am interested, as I do have the Raptors colorway, and that has a solid outsole, so I do want to see if that performs a little bit better, because this outsole does collect a lot of dust. And then the Nike Zoom GT Run coming in third place, as I found the durability to kind of be lacking, and then those lateral cuts, I was sliding to a stop every now and then. So for me, it was a little bothersome. So as far as the cushion goes on the Nike Zoom GT Run, you do have that Nike React midsole, which is very thick. You're sitting about an inch off the ground. So as far as court feel goes, there isn't a ton of court feel in the shoe. And then in the forefoot, you do have a Nike Zoom Strobel unit that does run full length of the forefoot. And then there is a second bag under that. And then also, there is a drop-in insole, which is Nike React as well. So there's a ton of step-in comfort. And then as far as the forefoot goes, it is very plush with that Nike Zoom, double stack Zoom actually. And then as far as the ride height, I just found it to be sitting a little bit too high off the ground for my liking personally. But the heel to toe transition was great because this Nike React is very cushy and soft. So it is a very nice transition. Honestly, for the Nike Zoom GT Run though, for me, it's just a little bit too much cushion at times because your foot is sitting very high off the ground at about an inch. So there really is no court feel within this shoe. As far as the heel to toe transition, again, it's very nice. There's really no court feel, but the React midsole is very soft and cushy. So it is a very natural transition. But for me, this is my least favorite out of the bunch. So as far as the cushion goes on the Nike Zoom GT Cut, directly under your foot, you have this drop-in midsole, which is Nike React. It's very soft and it cups your foot very nicely. And then right below that, you do have a full-length Zoom Strobel. Here is a Zoom bag from a Jordan 12. So this is sitting directly under your foot. And then in the heel, you have a second Zoom bag, as you can see, a little rectangle. So as far as the cushion goes on these guys, I found it to sit very low to the ground, very reminiscent of, the Kobe's 4s, 5s, and 6s. I really enjoy this setup of cushion with that Nike Drop-In React midsole, the full-length Zoom Strobel, and the heel unit. I found it to be very plush and low to the ground. And then as far as the heel to toe transition in these, they weren't bad, but with this outsole, I think it's Phylon, honestly. The heel to toe transition was a little bit clunky. So that is something to note. I would say these two models with the Run and the Jump being a little bit better than the Cuts. But if you're looking for a very low to the ground cushion, especially in the forefoot, your foot is sitting very low to the ground, I would say the Nike Zoom GT Cut is the best offering out of the three. So as far as the cushion goes on the Nike Zoom GT Jumps, you do have that styrofoam insole, as you can see here. It's very reminiscent of the Kobe 6 and KD 13s and 14s. So that's sitting directly under your foot. And then under that insole, you have full length Zoom Strobel, as you can see here. I might put it in a photo so you can see it a little better. So you have full length Zoom directly underfoot, which is super comfy. And then in the heel, you have a second Zoom bag and another one in the forefoot, which does run full length. So this cushion is absolutely crazy. The step-in comfort is great. And then honestly, the midsole is made out of a Cushlon foam. It just adds that step-in comfort and that extra little bit of plushness. Honestly, I think this is a crazy setup, and it's actually my favorite out of the three. And then as far as heel to toe transition on the Nike Zoom GT Jump, I really had no issue at all. That Pebax plate would make you think otherwise, but honestly, with all that Cushlon and all that Zoom within the shoe, it was a very natural heel to toe transition in the Nike Zoom GT Jump. So as far as the fit goes, I would say all of these run true to size. I would say that the cut is the most narrow out of the three, and then as well with the fit, that tongue is just so paper thin with that screen mesh. Those top eyelets, if you tie it really tight, you may get some pain there, so I will note that about the fit. But in my size 10.5 in the runs, my toe was sitting right near the edge. It is a little bit narrow, so like I said, I would go up half a size if you're a wide footer. And then in the cuts, I would say it's even a little bit more snug than the runs. I would say it's still true to size, but it does fit a little bit wider. As you can see here in the forefoot, it is a little bit wider. And these materials overall are just a little more forgiving than the runs. And then lastly, as far as the fit goes, again, true to size, it's a little bit more snug than the cuts, but the materials are pretty forgiving and free flowing. So I would say if you want that really snug one-to-one fit, go with your true to size. Again, if you're a wide fitter, I would say go up half a size or just go in store. So as far as materials go, on the Nike Zoom GT Run, you do have a mesh upper with a screen mesh at the back, as you can see here, and then kind of these little polyurethane material tidbits all over the shoe for that extra durability. Again, for 175 USD, I think this material is pretty cheap. You do have some neoprene on the lateral and medial portions, but just overall, it's a very minimal upper, very breathable. But again, for that 175 USD price tag, I find this to be the cheapest out of the three. And then as far as the material goes on the Nike Zoom GT Cut, you have this really open mesh on the side panels with that neoprene on the toe with the slits for breathability. And then the tongue as well is neoprene. Honestly, I find this to be the best out of the bunch as far as break-in time goes. This shoe needs 0 break-in time. You can literally throw these on, jump on court. And as far as the materials and fit goes, I find these to be the best out of the bunch. And then on the back of the Nike Zoom GT Cut, there is a synthetic suede as well. So again, on the Nike Zoom GT Cut, it's really nothing special, but I just find it to be very breathable and very nice on foot. So as far as materials go, I would have to say the Zoom GT Jump is actually my favorite. It does have that really crazy jump wire upper, which is literally see-through as you can see here. And then on the toe, running up the tongue, there is that screen mesh. I would have to say this is my favorite out of the bunch because it's very minimal and super breathable. As you can see as well here, there is some fuse portions connecting the materials, and there is kind of like a synthetic material on the back here as well. But again, you're paying $180 for the jumps, $175 for the runs, and $170 for the cuts. I would have to say these two right here being my favorites because of that breathability and just that no break-in time on the cuts. And then I just really enjoy this jump wire upper because it's super supportive and it's literally see-through. I find that pretty crazy. So as far as the weight goes on all three models, you have the Nike Zoom GT Run coming in at 14.25 ounces. Then you have the cuts coming in at 16 ounces basically. And then the jumps coming in the heaviest at 17.3 ounces. I will note all of these are a size 10.5. So as far as support goes on all three models, starting with the Run, you do have an internal heel counter as you can see, and then your foot is sitting ever so slightly within that React midsole. You do have this kind of lateral plastic plate here, and as far as your foot sitting within the midsole and that plate goes, it does have some pretty good lateral containment and support. The bottom does not have a shank plate, but it is pretty rigid. So as far as the cuts go, they do have some pretty good support. It is a mid cut. And then on the Nike Zoom GT cut, you do have this plastic TPU plate for lateral cuts. I find this to work great. It's very reminiscent of the Kobe 10s. You do have an internal heel counter, and then your foot is actually sitting very deep within this midsole as well. And it's sitting kind of cupped within that drop-in midsole, which is very nice. And then on the bottom, there is this torsion bar here. So it offers pretty nice torsional support and rigidity. So that's the Nike Zoom GT cuts. And then in my opinion, this shoe is the craziest out of the bunch for support. So starting at the bottom, you do have that Pebax jump frame, which is kind of a thermal plastic. It's pretty lightweight and flexible, but it's very supportive as well. And then on the upper, you have the jump wire upper. It's those TPU strands that are woven. You do have the fly wire in the 4 base eyelets. And then on the 5th one here, it does really draw your heel into the back of the shoe. It's kind of a free-flowing fly wire. It's very nice. And then in the heel, you do have that internal heel counter. And then as well as on the cuts, you have this little clip right here for lateral cuts. It is the Pebax material. So I just find this shoe to be the craziest support-wise. It is a higher top shoe, but as far as the support goes with the Pebax plate, your foot sitting within the midsole, the fly wire, and the jump wire upper, I find this shoe to be crazy. So that's going to do it for today's video on the Nike Greater Than series. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this series and which out of the 3 models was your favorite. Again, for me, the Nike Zoom GT Jump was my favorite. Just that crazy support and cushioning and the fantastic traction I really enjoyed. And then coming in second place would be the Nike Zoom GT Cut. Again, very reminiscent of Kobe models from the past with great plush cushioning, really low to the ground, very supportive, and very good traction, even though you have to wipe it every now and then. And then coming in third, like I said, the Nike Zoom GT Run. The shoe I think is great for a specific player, but for my play style, this shoe really just has not a lot of court feel. And sometimes, honestly, I just found that React midsole to just be too much. So I would have to say this comes in third place for me. But like I said, that's gonna do it for today's video. As always, thanks for watching the content. As always, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, that helps the channel a lot. Hit that little bell icon so you never miss another video just like this. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.